Something strange is happening to millions of people. They're not lazy, they're not stupid. They actually want a better life. But year after year, nothing really changes. They stay in the same situation, the same routines, the same habits, and slowly they start feeling like life is passing them by. The truth is uncomfortable. Most people are not failing because life is hard. They are failing because life is too comfortable. Comfort is one of the most dangerous traps in modern life. And the worst part? You don't even notice it happening. Comfort doesn't destroy your life overnight. It slowly rewires your brain. It lowers your standards. It weakens your discipline. It kills urgency. And eventually, you stop growing. Think about this. In the past, survival required effort. You had to move. You had to work. You had to struggle to improve your situation. Now, everything is easy. Food arrives to your door. Entertainment is endless. Distractions are everywhere. Your brain is constantly rewarded without effort. And when your brain gets used to easy rewards, hard things start to feel impossible. This is why so many people feel stuck. Not because they lack potential, but because they are surrounded by comfort. Comfort is addictive. It feels safe. It feels relaxing. It feels deserved. You tell yourself, I worked hard today. I need to rest. I'll start tomorrow. But tomorrow becomes next week. Next week becomes next month. And before you realize it, years have passed, and you are still in the same place. This is what comfortable failure looks like. You are not miserable enough to change, but you're not satisfied enough to feel fulfilled. So you stay in the middle. And the middle is dangerous, because that's where most dreams die. No big failure, no big collapse, just slow stagnation. Day after day, month after month. Comfort slowly removes the pressure that drives growth. Without pressure, people don't change. Without discomfort, people don't evolve. Look at the people who actually move forward in life. They are not always the smartest. They are not always the most talented, but they have something most people avoid. They are comfortable being uncomfortable. They do difficult things regularly. They push themselves even when they don't feel like it. They understand something most people ignore. Growth always feels uncomfortable. Always. Starting something new feels uncomfortable. Learning a skill feels uncomfortable. Working when others relax feels uncomfortable. But that discomfort is the price of progress. And most people don't want to pay it. They want results. Without the struggle, they want success. Without the pressure, they want change. Without discomfort. But life doesn't work like that. There is a hidden rule most people never realize. If your life feels too comfortable, you are probably not growing, because growth requires friction, effort, resistance, challenge. Think about the last time you truly improved something in your life. Maybe you got in shape. Maybe you built something. Maybe you learned a difficult skill. It wasn't comfortable. It was frustrating. It was difficult. There were days you wanted to quit, but that's exactly why it worked, because discomfort forced adaptation. This is something modern life is quietly removing, the need to struggle, and when struggle disappears, so does growth. Your brain adapts to the easiest available path. This is called the path of least resistance, and today that path leads directly to distraction. Scrolling, watching, consuming. Hours disappear without effort. Your brain thinks you are busy, but in reality, you are not moving forward. This creates a dangerous illusion. You feel mentally exhausted, but you didn't actually build anything. You didn't progress. You just consumed stimulation. This is one of the biggest traps in the modern world. Fake productivity. You feel active, but your life stays the same. That's why some people wake up one day and realize something scary. Years passed, but their life didn't change much. Same income, same habits, same mindset. Meanwhile, others moved ahead, not because they were lucky, but because they avoided the comfort trap. They forced themselves into environments that demand growth. They chose discipline over convenience, and over time, that creates a massive difference. Small daily discomfort leads to long-term success. Constant comfort leads to slow decline. This is where most people make a critical mistake. They wait for motivation, but motivation is unreliable. It disappears the moment something feels difficult. Discipline is different. Discipline works even when you don't feel like doing something. In fact, that's when it matters most. The people who change their lives understand this clearly. They don't rely on feelings. They rely on systems, habits, structure. They remove decisions from the equation because every decision drains energy. And when energy is low, comfort wins. This is why your environment matters more than motivation. If your environment is full of distractions, you will struggle. If everything around you is designed for comfort, progress becomes harder. That's why successful people intentionally design friction into their lives. They limit distractions. They set clear goals. They create routines that push them forward. And slowly, their baseline changes. What once felt difficult becomes normal. What once felt impossible becomes routine. This is the real secret behind progress. Not motivation, not talent, adaptation. Humans adapt to whatever environment they stay in. Stay in comfort long enough, and you become weaker. Stay in challenge long enough, and you become stronger. Your life is shaped by what you repeatedly do, not what you plan, not what you want, but what you actually do every day. This is why small habits matter more than big plans. Most people underestimate small daily choices. But those choices shape your future. Every time you choose comfort over effort, you reinforce that pattern. Every time you avoid something difficult, your brain learns that avoidance is normal. Over time, that becomes your identity. I'm not disciplined. I can't focus. I'm just not productive. But the truth is different. Your environment trained you this way, and that means it can also be changed. But change requires one thing most people avoid: intentional discomfort. You need to deliberately do things that feel difficult, not once, but consistently. That's how you break the comfort cycle. Start small, wake up earlier than usual, exercise even when you don't feel like it. Work on something important before opening social media. These actions seem small, but they send a powerful signal to your brain. I am in control. And that changes everything. Because confidence doesn't come from thinking, it comes from action. When you repeatedly do hard things, your identity shifts. You stop seeing yourself as someone stuck. You start seeing yourself as someone progressing. And that mindset is powerful. But there's something even more important to understand. The world is changing fast. Competition is increasing everywhere. Skills become outdated quickly. Opportunities are more accessible, but also more competitive. This means comfort is becoming more dangerous over time. People who stay comfortable are falling behind faster than ever before. And many don't realize it yet, but the gap is growing between those who push themselves and those who stay comfortable. And once that gap becomes too large, catching up becomes extremely difficult. That's why the best time to change is now. Not next year, not next month. Now, because the longer you stay in comfort, the harder it becomes to leave it. Comfort slowly reduces your tolerance for effort. Things that used to feel manageable start feeling overwhelming. Simple tasks feel exhausting. Focus becomes harder. Motivation disappears faster. And that's not random. Your brain adapted to a low-effort environment. But the good news is this: the brain can adapt in the opposite direction too. If you start pushing yourself consistently, your capacity increases, your focus improves, your energy changes, your standards rise, but it requires a period of resistance. At first, it will feel difficult. Your brain will resist change. It will try to pull you back into comfort. That's normal. It happens to everyone. But if you keep going, something interesting happens. The discomfort becomes normal, and comfort starts to feel boring. This is where real growth begins, because now you are no longer trapped by ease. You are driven by progress. And that is rare. Most people never reach this stage. They remain in the comfort loop, year after year. But you don't have to. You can interrupt the cycle right now. Ask yourself a simple question. When was the last time you did something difficult on purpose? Not because you had to, but because you wanted to grow. If you can't remember, that might be the real reason you feel stuck. And the solution is simple, not easy, but simple. Start choosing growth over comfort every day. Small decisions, small improvements, consistent effort. That's how real change happens. Not overnight, but inevitably, because the person who improves a little every day will eventually outperform the person who stays comfortable every single time.